All right, everybody, welcome. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Welcome to our late night Friday evening stream. Today is Friday, February 5th, 2021. Those of you who were with me earlier in the day know that I'm so happy about this music situation. I really can't even get it together. So I'm glad that some of you all noticed that the sound is much, much better. It's kind of a long story as to why. Just know that a software upgrade has taken place, and it enables us to actually play sound directly to you now. So I'm so pleased. I'm so happy. So happy. So anyway, welcome you guys. Welcome to the show. I will be giving a big shout out to my sponsors as we transition into the after show. So if you're a sponsor listening to hear your shout out, I will be shouting you out during the after show. All right, let's see here. I'm trying to, do I have to turn this off? What do I do? Let's see, hold on. I'm still learning this stuff, y'all. I guess I could leave it there. That's fine. No, hold on. Sorry. Why don't I just go to this one? Yeah, do that. That's what I want you to do. Do I have to, hold on, I have to remove this one maybe? There we go. That's the screen I want. Okay. So welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. It is so very good to have you this evening. So we are going to be discussing a very interesting topic. This was a big request when I put out the all call asking everyone what you really wanted to hear about in 2021. Several people wanted to hear about the concept or the topic of toxic feminism. And like I've mentioned before, it's a topic that I struggle with because mainly so many people really have a tough time defining feminism. In my opinion, there's probably 10 or 12 different definitions out there, depending on who you ask, right? So it's hard to define something or define the toxic version of something if everyone doesn't even agree on the actual definition, right? So we're going somewhere with all this. I'm building up to this. All right. So where this leaves us with the silhouette challenge thing, we're going to get to all the deep stuff. Just a high level for those who have no idea what's going on. The silhouette challenge is a social media challenge where women in particular, and I'm sure some men have done it at this point too, but primarily women, I guess, I don't know how they do it. I don't know if they have a red light. I don't know if there's a red filter on the phone, but somehow they get it to where all you can see is the shadowy black outline of their body, very similar to the thumbnail you're looking at on the screen. And that's it. And the red light behind them, basically. So you can't see their face, you can't see their body, anything. All you can really see is them moving and dancing to the music, right? Sounds harmless enough, right? Except for the fact that many of the women chose to do the challenge completely naked. Okay. And this is perfectly fine on Instagram. Perfectly fine. I assume on Facebook. I don't know. But it flies or whatever. So what? PTE, who cares? Another internet challenge. Well, what happened was some guy or a group of guys, or I don't know, some people who are very good with computers who happen to be males, figured out how to remove the red filter and figured out how to remove it to the point where you could basically see the person's face and see their whole entire whatever, room, body, clothes, no clothes, whatever. So it's caused this huge social media, outrage with people. Well, it's actually quite split, actually. One half of the group says, they're in violation, they're predators, they're wrong. How could you? This is an invasion of privacy, blah, 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 blah. And then the other group is like, listen, if you put this on social media, it wasn't hidden, it wasn't in some secret account, some secret vault that hackers got into and then, tweak the filter and put you on social media. This is something you put out there yourself. These are the risks that we run when we do these types of things. And I personally am in the latter group. I just personally feel like this is like the risk that you run. Hold on, my dog is being poorly behaved and I need to hem her up really quick. I installed a camera in a part. Let's see, is she gone? Did she get out of there? I don't see her walking around in there. I had to install a secret camera because she likes to go engage in a very bad behavior when I'm not looking. And it just sent me an alert. So anyway, I apologize for getting distracted. So I'm in the latter group, okay? And I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to build my case. And where you stand one way or another, is entirely your right. But I want this screen. And it didn't work. Okay. All right. I'm still getting used to this. Boom. Okay, here we go. Got it. So first, I thought we would start just quite simply with the internet definition of feminism, so we can at least have a launch pad. Okay. So feminism, a very simple search, is the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes. Okay. Then if you look over here to the right, feminism, political ideology. Feminism is a range of social movements, political movements, and ideologies that aim to define and establish the political, economic, personal, and social equality of the sexes. That is what feminism is officially defined as. Okay. However, I do think feminism has taken on new definitions that aren't accurate, but they exist nonetheless. So there's two different versions of the new definition that I'm going to give you. The first is the one that people claim the silhouette challenge is meant to empower. And that is that feminism is the right to kind of openly display yourself anytime, any place, anywhere. And it's bold and it's empowering and it's yes and it's now and it's go girl go. You know what I mean? Like embrace. Body positivity is the movement that it's starting to frame up, right? And then the male version of feminism is anything that has to do with being nice to women. And that would be your male version of feminism. Anything that has to do with the kind treatment of women would be pretty much what I could summarize it and boil it down to. However, for this live stream, what I'm actually focusing on is the first version, which is the, feminism is body positivity type movement. Okay. So before I get into my personal thoughts, I want to kind of give a little bit more context and background to this, and then we'll get into this. Oh, and also, this is not the only thing we're talking about. Depending on how long it takes me to get through this, we are also going to talk about a toxic mother in particular and her behavior towards her daughter regarding the whole 9-year-old getting pepper spray challenge. So we actually have a lot to talk about tonight. So if you wanted a nice long evening stream, you got it. Okay. So let's look at this article really quick, and then we'll just kind of chit chat through it. It says why the TikTok silhouette challenge is causing privacy concerns. And it's so ironic to hear the word privacy concerns on an open social media platform. But anyway, one woman posted a warning that has generated more than 113,000 likes on the social media platform. Let's see. Will this video play?
A new TikTok trend is
so just so you guys know, these videos will not play as good as the ones that are preloaded because you have to preload them. But anyway, here we go.
Concern. The idea was to empower people to feel good in their bodies.
But now users are finding out people can see more of their body than they planned. Sin TV's Angela Weigert shares one woman's warning.
Put your head on my shoulder.
What you're looking at is the so-called silhouette challenge on TikTok. But when this photographer saw it, she saw nothing but red flags.
And even though they're all really cute and creative and y'all are following them, just make sure you're being cognizant of what you're wearing.
Why? Well, people are finding ways to remove that filter, exposing whatever you're wearing or not wearing underneath the silhouette.
How easy is it for someone to mess with one of these videos?
It's trivial.
C. Matthew Curtin is the founder of InterHack Corporation, a cybersecurity and digital forensics firm.
Generally speaking, anytime that you have social media and challenge, that equals bad idea.
A bad idea because you aren't really in control of what you post.
If you downloaded a free app to do something, then you are not using a product. You are the product. The only way that you can make sure that you don't have more than you intend to send is to make sure that what you are sending is the only thing that's actually going over the wire. What you intend to frame is the only thing going across the internet. And unless you're very technical and you control the tools, that's pretty difficult to do.
Making it easy for predators.
The best advice is just not to do that kind of silly stuff.
Reporting in Columbus, Angela Reigert, 10 TV News.
All right, so I'm actually glad that they showed some, because I wasn't going to show, like, isolate and show some of the challenges. So they showed a few so you can get an idea of what this is. So I'm not going to read this because they basically just said it all. So now let's kind of look at one of the interpretations / oh my God, that's so little. Let me make this bigger. Hold on. Let's look at one of the interpretations together that kind of spawned all this for me and made me go, okay, guys, come on now. This is what they're talking about. You see, now I've gone in on men very hard on this channel. I have, but I would like to think that I'm a fair person. And when I see something that needs to be called out, I'm going to call it out. And I've always said that. Y'all just don't believe me. That's all. But it's okay. All right. I made it a little bit bigger. Let's see if I can just flop back. Boom. Okay. YouTube is profiting off creeps hacking a sexy body positive TikTok challenge. Okay. For the past few weeks, a trend called the Silhouette Challenge has been going viral on TikTok. To a remix of Paul Anka's Put Your Head on My Shoulder, participants in the trend, mostly but not all women, stand in front of the camera fully clothed, then stand in their doorway in silhouette with a red filter, dancing provocatively and showing off their bodies. The trend was intended to be a sexy body positive challenge, but it was hijacked by individuals who use software to remove the red filter from the videos to reveal women's bodies in full, whether they're clothed, partially clothed, or nude. And although a subreddit featuring these edited TikToks has been banned by Reddit, there are still dozens of videos on YouTube instructing people how to edit the videos. Some of them have hundreds of thousands of views, and at least 6 of them feature ads indicating that they are monetized, per a review shared with Rolling Stone by Media Matters. The most popular videos has more than 233,000 views. And they tend to be uploaded by tech product review and hack channels. Okay. People are apparently searching for the term so frequently that how to remove red light in silhouette challenge shows up in the autocomplete underneath terms like how to paint house exterior and how to remove squirrels in your attic. Oh, God. Okay, we're not going to read all of this. I'll link it for you after the show. But that's kind of the fallout, okay? So that's kind of the setup to where we are. So if you're just joining, where we are is there is a trending social media challenge where women basically are dancing to this very specific song with a red filter on. All was well until the hackers figured out how to take the filter off. Now everybody's up in arms, right? So now, before I give my commentary, I want to look at one more thing and see if any of you actually remember this, okay? So this was from around June of 2019. It says, terrifying app that can remove women's clothes and create fake nudes is banned, okay? A new smartphone app that can remove women's clothes based on clothed pictures has been taken offline. Deep Nude was available to download for free from March and used AI to create realistic nudes. The banned program used technology similar to that used to create so-called deep fake videos, which manipulate moving image to produce convincingly realistic clips. Users were then required to pay $50 to remove a large watermark that appeared over the generated nude image and export this result. Super creepy, right? Deep Nude said it took the app offline because it couldn't cope with high numbers of traffic. However, the company later tweeted, here is the brief history and the end of Deep Nude. We created this project for users' entertainment a few months ago. We thought we were selling a few sales every month in a controlled manner. Honestly, the app is not that great. It only works with particular photos. We never thought it would become viral and we would not be able to control the traffic. All right. So then it just kind of goes on. A spokesperson for Deep Nude also tweeted the app would be misused and wanted to distance itself from selling the program. Okay, so I'll link this one for you too. Now, there's a reason I bring all this together and bring up this old story from a couple of years ago. Here's where I stand on all of this. All right, let me go back to my screen. Let me see if I can just bounce. Let's see. Boom. Ha. All right. Here's where I stand on all of this, okay? I actually have really, not complex, but I have a lot to say. As you all know, and if not, perhaps you have discovered, I don't camera. You guys noticed that, right? Now, there's many reasons. We've gotten into quite a few over the course of the years of this channel, but here's one of the main reasons I don't come on camera, because I recognize that once you give away your image, it's gone forever, basically. You're handing it over forever. You guys can take an image and do anything with it. You can take my voice and pretty much do anything with it at this point. You know, so I've already given that up. But your image is kind of like the last thing you have, if that makes sense. So when you give away your image in any way, you are kind of sacrificing it to the internet to do with it what it will. So you guys see what happens with memes, right? You see that, right? Is that they cannot edit a video that's not there. They can't take the filter off of a video that's not there. Now, how does this compare with what we were just looking at? Let me see. Do I just bounce? No, I have to take this off. Okay, I click here. Click that. Nope. I don't know what I'm doing. Boom. Now, how does that compare to this one? The difference between, in my opinion, the silhouette challenge controversy and this app is that a person can take a random photo that was not intended for a sexual purpose and make it sexual. Now, that's just my opinion on what's different. So they could just take a picture of you on LinkedIn, plug it into this app, make the app do what it does, and now suddenly you appear to be nude even though you're not. And they got that from a LinkedIn photo. You see what I mean? But when you compare it to the silhouette challenge, it kind of leads to one of my first questions. And this is an open question, but one of my first questions is, what is the ultimate goal? See, if you take my LinkedIn photo and put it in a deep nude app and now make me look naked from a LinkedIn photo, yeah, I feel super violated because my picture was up there for a professional purpose. And you took it and you made it unprofessional, even though it's not really me, obviously. The point is you took something that was supposed to be professional and made it vulgar for your own sexual pleasure. That's sick. But when you are purposely putting a video up to stimulate sexuality, and then someone just takes the joke further, like, how can you be mad at that? Now, hear me out. Is it creepy? Yes. Is it gross? Yes, it is. But they can't edit a video that's not there. They simply cannot do it. Yeah, they can take a video of you playing soccer and put it in a deep fake nude app and now make it look like you're naked playing soccer. And that's creepy and gross and weird. But when you're up here purposely, and in some cases, and this is what's causing all the controversy, some women chose to do it completely naked with, I guess, the thought process, they'll never see my actual body because I'm in this silhouette form. But they took it, and I didn't even think this was possible, y'all. I really didn't, but I guess anything is possible with the internet and computers and Photoshop. But they're not even using Photoshop. They're using like basic app filters to adjust like the contrast and stuff. but they just never imagined in a million years somebody would be able to take the filter off. Those are the types of things you have to imagine. Now, if someone takes a LinkedIn picture and makes it into a deep nude, no, that's not something I would imagine. And that's super creepy. And I'm glad they shut that app down. But if I'm up here naked and it's the silhouette of my body and I'm releasing this video to my friends and family on Facebook and Instagram, which I also find quite weird. It's weird, guys, ladies. It's weird. Usually your social media account consists of a mixture of friends, family, current, and former coworkers. So the fact this little dog is where she's not supposed to be. I'm about to just go close this door. Yep, she's up there right now. This little thing. Hold on. I'm going to scream at her through the mic, through the camera. Hold on. Every time I pick it, she must hear it click on. Get your little butt downstairs. Yeah, I don't know if that works or not. But anyway, I shouldn't do that stuff because I lose my train of thought. Let me see where I was. Former coworkers. Yes. So the fact little dog is where she... Okay, yeah, I was talking about former coworkers. So generally, stay your little butt right down here. I can see you now. I'm watching you. Generally, it's a mixture of people. So you don't think it's weird and creepy and gross to like be showing the outline of your breasts, showing your hips, showing like your little thigh gap and the outline of your lady parts. And we don't want to see that, sis. We don't want to see that. We don't. Now, if you like were in a Facebook group or an Instagram group of dancers, you know what I mean? And all y'all do all day is share dance clips of each other, you know, doing all kinds of dances, then it makes sense that you would do the silhouette challenge for your group of dancer friends, because that's the type of stuff that y'all share with each other all the time. You know, it's nothing, you know, but you all release that to the general population. And that's kind of where the problem starts to arise for me. So in addition to the fact that they can't alter something that's not there, you release this stuff to the general population. That also consists of young people, I'll have to say. Well, you know what? I didn't turn the monetization on this video anyway, because I didn't feel like being bothered with it. But it's available to children as well. And I don't like that. Because at some point, I feel like y'all are crossing the line into being sexual predators. I really do. And I'll tell you why. To me, this is going to sound awful and it's going to sound kind of double standardy. But to me, if you're not a supermodel getting paid millions of dollars to do that kind of stuff, you don't need to be doing it, sis. I mean it. And here's the thing. Yes, I know some girls are getting paid through like OnlyFans. We're going to talk about OnlyFans in a minute. Okay. But what I mean is like, if you're going to be looking at my silhouette in a bra and panties, then I need to be a Victoria's Secret supermodel, walking somebody's catwalk, getting paid millions of dollars for you to look at me in my silhouette. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Like, if you're going to give it up like that, it needs to be 100% worthwhile in the end. And also, in my opinion, needs to have an artistic element to it. Now, this is all my opinion, y'all. And I don't expect my opinion to make everybody happy, but this is just how I feel. Like, at least with Victoria's Secret, yes, they're selling lingerie. Yes, it's capitalism. Yes, it's objectification to some degree or to a large degree of women. But there's still some point behind it all. Does that make sense? Leave it to the professionals. Exactly. That's my point. Like, I get it if your little silhouette videos are pulling in $100,000 a piece. Like, I would still think you're selling out to some degree. But at the same time, I'd be like, well, she doesn't have to worry about much. And it is artistic. It's for an artistic purpose. But this stuff that we're seeing on social media is not for an artistic purpose. And I cannot understand why women keep falling for these challenges. Like, they are creating an archive of you. An archive. Some of you are archived in creepy men's phones. You know, when I stopped sending pictures of myself to people, and no, I don't send nudes. What I'm talking about is back when we first got smartphones, back when we first got the ability to send pictures, and somebody would just be like, send me a picture. And they literally just wanted like a picture of your face, right? They weren't asking for nudes back then. Okay. Not yet. It was coming. We just didn't know that. It started with the face pictures and worked its way to nudes. But anyway, there was a moment in time when I didn't care because the technology was new. You understand? So it'd be like, send me a picture. Okay. And it'd be like, you send me a picture. So like, we're all sending each other pictures. You know, when I stopped sending a picture of my face to men, and not random men, y'all. I didn't just walk around like sending my picture to people. Like someone I had met, was talking to, possibly even dating. That's what I mean. When I met a guy, I don't even know how we were having this conversation, but we got on the topic of sending pictures, and he had an accent. So forgive me, I have to do it because it means something to me. It means something to the memory. But he goes, do not send pictures to men. It is like a catalog. And he like made this motion of his hand flipping through a catalog. He goes, do not send pictures to men. It is like a catalog. And I was like, oh my God, it's a catalog. Y'all, some of y'all are in somebody's catalog in their phone. Like, I find that creepy. So that means at any given time, any given moment, they can just sit and just flip through their catalog. Do you understand? Like an old school photo album. The physical ones that had the plastic sheets, same thing. Do not send pictures to men. It is like a catalog. And I was just like, oh my God. And it changed me forever, y'all. And now, obviously I don't send them now, but I'm like, now I like it flipped a switch in my brain. So I say all that to say, why are y'all adding to these men's catalogs, man? Why? Like, and yes, you have the right to do that, but you're just another dancing, twirling, twerking figure in a catalog of thousands. You see what I mean? So there's that. So what have we covered so far? They can't edit a video that's not there. Do not send pictures to men. It's like a catalog. Here's the other thing that people don't think about. Even if this had not gone viral, because I feel like part of what has caused the outrage is people are upset that like YouTube is promoting the how-to video, right? But please understand that even if YouTube didn't promote that video, the knowledge would still be out there. So the knowledge of how to remove that filter would still have been out there, and he just would have been sitting at home doing it by himself. Isn't that creepier? The fact that he told everybody is creepy, yes, but isn't it creepier that he's just sitting home editing your silhouette videos all by himself? Now he can see your breast, your vagina, everything. That doesn't creep you out too? It should. It should. Now, let's talk about OnlyFans really quick. Believe it or not, I'm not as against OnlyFans as you would think. Not as against it as you would think, and I'll tell you why. The reason I'm not as against OnlyFans as you would think is because it's not public. Do some videos leak out from OnlyFans? Yes. Do some videos leak out to social media from OnlyFans? Yes, they do. But there's two things about OnlyFans that doesn't bother me as much as you would think. Number one, it's not public. And number two, it's entirely voluntary. Meaning if I want to go see all your little lady parts, I have to go pay to do it. So I had to take steps to see all that. Not just be on my Instagram timeline, or what's the area that's not your timeline, but they just put up like the most popular posts. So pretty much if your page is public, your post could end up on I'll just call it the public page. I forgot what it's called. Search page. I don't know. Not on the search page, not on the public page. You see what I mean? Like, I don't want to see that, sis. I don't. Like, it's not for me. That's for men, right? Or whomever. Whoever it's for, you need to direct it towards them, is what I'm saying. And for those of you wondering how I feel about Chloe Bailey, I'm incredibly disappointed. I think it's sad. I'm like, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. You have other options. You have a talent. You have a gift. You know Beyonce. Beyonce likes you. That means something. Beyonce likes you. That means something. You don't have to sell out like this. You don't. And so that's going to lead me to my next point. I just hate so much that so many women default to this. It's not the fact that they want to show themselves and show off how sexy they are, because the truth of the matter is, if we're blessed, we'll live to be very old one day. And no one wants to see it at 100. No one wants to see that at age 100. So you might as well show it now while it's young, right? But at the same time, why do we always default to this? Why is this the default? Kind of like how we, at least in the Black community, can't stand how so many men default to the thug life, default to the hood life and lifestyle. Why do so many women default to this? Why? Why is this the default? I don't like that. Did Lizzo do the same thing? She did. She's taken like a series of nude pictures, right? Like, I think I speak for a lot of people when I say we don't want to see that from Lizzo or anybody else. Like, I think we're tired of the sexualization, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's been in our face now for, I want to estimate, at least 20, maybe 25 years. In our face, non-stop. I'm so tired of looking at people's ass. I'm tired of it. I'm exhausted by it. Like, can it do anything else? Do you know how to do anything else? Like, it's annoying. You know what I mean? And I hate how hypersexualized we become and over-sexualized we become as a society. Like, any new music video that comes out, you already know what you're going to see. I shouldn't be able to predict your music video. Like, it's like we got caught on a theme and we just stuck with it. Like, we didn't know what to do after twerking. So here's my other thoughts, kind of like on the same thread of OnlyFans. Like, I feel like what has happened is we have allowed porn to cross over into the mainstream, basically. And I can say that because this video is not monetized. So, but there is a fine line between pornography and boldness, empowerment, sexiness, art. Like, y'all are just engaging in pornography. Really, it's porn. And we're so tired of seeing that. Porn has its place. There's a reason you have to go looking for it. And in some cases, pay for it. It's supposed to be over there. That's why I can't stand WAP, as somebody just put in the chat. I think WAP is disgusting. Disgusting. I think it's one of the most disgusting concepts of a song ever thought up. And I think it's disgusting how it's been pushed on the masses as if it's normal. Girl, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about that. I find that disgusting. I think what you do with Offset is disgusting. I wouldn't let him on top of me if he was the last man on earth, girl. So the fact that that's what y'all over there doing, I find it just so nasty. I don't want to think about your bedroom. And that's, to me, where the predator element is coming out. Like, what is it called? Not voyeurism, exhibitionism or something. There's something you can get charged for. I think it might be voyeurism. What is it if you put on like a long raincoat and you run around flashing people? What is that called? Does anyone know? There's a term for it. Like, if I put on a trench coat and I'm naked underneath and I run around flashing people, what is that called? Anyway, there's a charge for it. I just can't think of the name. But that's what I feel like y'all are doing to us. Like, y'all are subjecting us to things that we don't want to think about. You know what I mean? I don't want to think about your WAP. That is so nasty. Is it streaking? Is that the indecent exposure? Thank you so much. That's public indecency, exhibitionism, indecent exposure. Correct. That's what I feel like we're being subjected to. with this media and this entertainment. And hear me out, y'all. I'm not a prude. I promise you I'm not. I'm really, really not. I'm not a prude. You know, I'm not a saint. You know what I mean? I'm a grown woman. I'm an adult. Okay. But I feel like there's a place for everything. And that's not on our mainstream airways and in our, you know what I mean? Like, you should have to go looking for that stuff. It shouldn't just be available. And we certainly shouldn't be giving it awards and rewards and elevating it up to the highest pedestal. We shouldn't. Because I feel like all I can ever think about, y'all, are the kids. And I'm like, I cannot imagine being a child hearing WAP and then hearing what it means. And then, God forbid, hearing my mother or my auntie singing it, dancing to it. That's disgusting. That's nasty. You cannot do that to kids. You cannot do that to kids. You cannot do it. It's abuse. I'm sorry, it is. You can't do that. It's not right. You shouldn't have to think about that at such young ages and try to make sense of it. And like, don't get me started, y'all. That'll take me down a whole nother stream of thought. It really will. I just think it's so wrong. You cannot do that to your children. And there was this huge controversy briefly because there was this video of Cardi playing it. And then her daughter walked in the room and she turned it off. And somebody in the comments was like, oh, your daughter can't listen to it, but ours can. And Cardi's clapback was, it's not my job to raise your kids. You know, I'm raising my daughter. No, she can't listen to this. I make music for adults. But the flaw in her logic is, yeah, you make music for adults, but it's pushed out on everybody. That's the problem. And she's not wrong in the sense that it is up to the parent to monitor and control that. But you have to understand the type of influence that you have. And you know, a lot of the parents are bird-brained themselves. You know that. So it's like when you're given the opportunity to raise the consciousness and elevate the consciousness a little bit higher, you choose not to. You choose to lower the consciousness. And that's what makes everyone so upset. Like, if you want to make adult music, pornography music, make that and then sell it exclusively to where you can only like get it on a CD. And then don't let it be upload. Well, not a CD, but you know what I mean? Like an exclusive download. Make it to where you can't upload it to YouTube. Make it to where it's blocked on all the major social media platforms. So if you really want to hear this song, you either have to go to HBO where they have it like in a TV show, or download it yourself. But you'll never hear it on the radio. You'll never hear it on any social media. That's what I mean by pushed out to everybody. Like, y'all are destroying these children and trying to make it seem normal. And then you wonder why we have so many issues with abuse, childhood abuse, because they can't differentiate between what is adulthood and what is childhood. My mommy sings this song in front of me, so it must be okay, right? Do I need one of those? Do I have one of those? Like, I just can't even, like, it's so disgusting. I'm very passionate about this, if you guys can't tell. Very passionate. And again, I'm not a prude. Like, a lot of the music I listen to is incredibly inappropriate. Would I let my children listen to it around me? No. Now, as they become teenagers and start to find music on their own outside of my control, we might start introducing some of the songs that I listen to, but we're not going to be sitting down listening together to some of the songs because even I know they're inappropriate. You know what I mean? It's just not right. Like, it's not a situational circumstance you should put your children in. You know what I mean? So there's that. What else did I want to say? So yeah, so what is your ultimate goal? What is the intent of doing these videos for strangers? Oh, I wanted to touch on this really quick. To the ladies who think that this is okay, I wonder if they're aware of the present state, the present mental state, and the current mental health of the generalized male mind. Am I talking about all men? No. I'm talking about the sick little bastards that we've discussed many times on this channel. That's who I'm talking about. The ones who are way, way off the deep end. I don't think they even know that these men exist. Because if you knew about the MGTOWs, the pickup artists, the incels, if you knew about all these different groups, you would not do this stuff. Not because you should control what you do to keep them mentally healthy. It's not our job to keep them mentally healthy. It would be because of the knowledge that you're actually making it worse. you're contributing to the ill mental health that already exists. Now, again, no, it is not your responsibility to keep men mentally healthy. That is not our job. But when they already think you're sluts and whores, and then you just go stack onto that, it makes it very hard for women like me to defend us and fight for us. It does. I'm just telling the truth. It makes it incredibly difficult. And then you go out here and do this kind of stuff and then cry when somebody takes your filter off. Like, how can I defend you? They can't take the filter off a video that doesn't exist. Now, if they put a deep fake nude on an innocuous video and then circulate that as if it's real, now you've got a criminal case and you can actually sue and probably get some damages for that. You probably could and should. But when you put a sexual video out for sexual purpose and then somebody sexualizes it, I'm sorry, I can't side with you on this one. I can't. And then just the knowledge of how deeply unwell they already are, this is not helping. It's not. Like, the appropriate response to this should have been, well, oh, well, the video was out there. So if they took the filter off, oh, well, hope you enjoyed what you saw. Hope you liked it. That's the appropriate response. Now that's a little bit more on the empowerment side. Like, yeah, I put a video out. Yeah, I was naked. Yeah, they took the filter off. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the show. Now that to me is someone who's taken full ownership. But if you do that and then you don't want to take ownership of all the consequences, well, this is what they mean when they say women are irresponsible, which I, on the general premise, I disagree with. But when stuff like this happens, this is what they mean. You want to be able to do anything and then not take responsibility for it. This is what they mean. So what else? Let's see here. I think that's actually everything I wanted to say about the silhouette challenge. Okay. So by the time we get to the after show, I won't be able to see these comments. Well, you know what? Yes, I will. I have a setup, kind of, sort of. I have a plan. All right. I think I'll be able to. So I won't be able to display them, but I'll be able to see quite a few of them because I have it pulled up on my phone. All right. So hopefully I didn't upset you guys. I am a woman, so I feel like I have the right, and I feel like I'm in a very appropriate position to speak out to women about this kind of stuff. To the men listening, this does not mean that I am on your side. I am not. But I've chastised you before, and I've chastised you thoroughly. So now it's the ladies' turn this evening, okay? All right. So with that, why don't we transition into our next topic? And I don't have a freaking thumbnail to talk over. That's okay. Let me just do this real quick. Let me go here. So I'll just talk this one up first, and then I'll show you the video. Why is it not switching? See, I don't know what I'm doing. Boom. Oh, I have to take this off. There we go. Okay, lovely. All right. So switching gears, but still on the topic of feminism and toxic women, right? Many of you are aware of the story of a 9-year-old girl who was pepper sprayed by police after her mother called the police on her after she threatened to harm herself and others, okay? So the video has gone viral for obvious reasons, primarily that, the police seem to waste no time to pepper spray this girl. And it's just outrageous. She's 9. She's one person versus like 4 or 5 adults, several of whom were males who couldn't handle this girl. If you can't handle a 9-year-old, a flailing 9-year-old, of course you can't handle adults. And no wonder you shoot adults all the time. You can't even handle aggressive 9-year-olds. But anyway, we're actually not here to discuss the pepper spraying because obviously I'm against it. Obviously, I find it disgusting and outrageous and ridiculous, especially in light and in comparison of everything that took place on January 6th with the storming of the Capitol, where they tried to actually kill federal legislators and overthrow the federal government. So the fact that you've got this much energy for this 9-year-old and not other adults is just, really infuriating. But we're not going to go there. It's not what this is actually about. There's 2 videos circulating. One is the part where she finally is in the partial custody of the cops, screaming for her dad, and then she gets pepper sprayed. The other is the extended video that led up to all of that, okay? And in that extended video, you can hear the interactions with the mother, the one who called the police, mind you, okay? You can hear the interaction with her. It's that interaction that we are going to examine. Now, I will warn you, it's not that it's graphic. I think for many of you, it will be quite triggering. I think for many of you, it has the potential to bring back really, really bad memories. I think for many of you, it's going to be quite familiar, okay? There's a lot of curse words. There's some violence, not like graphic violence, but there is some violence. And it disturbed me, and I didn't go through that as a child. So if it bothered me and I didn't even go through that, I can only imagine how someone who's gone through that might feel about this. So I just say that to give you an adequate warning. You may not want to watch it if you're not really in a good place with all this stuff, okay? And even with that warning, I don't think I'm doing it justice. We're going to watch the video. It's 6 minutes long, so it's kind of long, but not really. And then once the video is done, I will come back on to give my commentary, okay? So let me cue it up. All right.
You're not in trouble. Come here. Come here. Stop. You're not in trouble. Come here. Come here. I'm not going to walk all the way down the street for you. Come here. It's freezing out. Stop.
No.
Stop. 247.
I am not.
247. I got her at 76 Harris. Just start a rig.
Get off of me.
Stop. What's going on?
Get off of me.
What's going on?
Get off of me.
I'm not going to get off.
Get off.
What is going on? How can I help you?
Get off.
No, because
I don't
you're not
want
going to run. Harris, you're not going to run away from me, okay? Because I'm going to have to chase you, okay? And I got like 6 other cars coming to chase you.
I don't care.
All right?
I don't care.
Well, come and talk to me, please.
Oh, I don't want to.
Dear. What is going on? What did you tell your mom? What did you tell your mom?
I'm not wanting you.
Huh?
I'm not going.
Huh?
I'm not going.
That's fine. But what did you tell your mom?
What?
What happened? Why are you so upset?
She stabbed my dad.
Who did? She did? Okay.
My blood was seen off of my lip. The fuck? No, it was not, because when he walked in the house, he was holding his stomach. It was my blood. How the hell? So your lip gonna bleed all the way down to your stomach, to your pants. Fighting on the porch.
Who's
yes,
your dad?
you grown-ass little girl. You're grown as a bitch. You don't know what you're talking about. Look at you.
Who's your
that
dad?
was your blood of your lip. That much blood. Yes, he had me in the headlock. You finna really make me do.
Ma'am.
Really finna go in on your ass. Now, because she's 9 years old and she really. That's why she's done. That's why she's done. It's okay. You sit there and watch this man put his hands on me all the time. All the time.
Did you stab him?
No, I didn't. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
How do you know that?
Because
How do you know that?
Yes, because when he walked in the house.
Car,
when he walked to the house, he was holding. Okay, so your lip gonna go to his blood, and he had me in the headlock.
I'm not
so
saying.
You stabbed him?
I'm sitting here arguing with it. Yeah, so I stabbed him.
Yes, you did.
I just put the police on him. They gonna find him.
Yes. No.
They gonna find him.
Dude, just come with me to my car.
You gonna get your ass for sitting here lying.
I'm not.
Come on.
I'm not going to.
First of all, Stevie, you gonna bring your ass to this motherfucking house, and I'm gonna ask you one more time.
You gonna bring your ass to this house if I yoke your ass up and drag you home. I got custody. You're my child. So you gonna take your ass home right now, and you gonna take your ass in the house.
All right, come on. Hold on. Not helping that.
Go the fuck in the house now.
Come on. Come on. Man,
I wish you might.
if you want my help, just
I wish you might.
stop.
Who the fuck is you talking to like that? Get away. Who the fuck is you talking to like that? Who the fuck is you talking to like that? No.
Come on, you gotta come with me.
You gotta come with me. Who the fuck is you talking to like that?
Come on, dear. All right, listen, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Go back to the house. All right? Dear, you're not running away from me. You're not running away. Come on.
Can I help ya?
Come on.
Can I help ya? Can I help you?
Come on.
Can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you?
All right, let's go. Stop. Enough.
Can I help you?
Enough.
And you can suck my dick. And you can suck my dick. And you can suck my dick. What's up?
Enough.
What up? Don't say shit pussy about me. What up?
Come on. Stop.
What up?
Stop.
What up? Get up. What up? What up? What up? Get out the car. Get out the car. Get out the car. Right, you still talking. Let me go. You still talking though. Bitch. Dusty ass bitch. Get the fuck out of my face. Don't talk about my head.
Yeah, Mom's trying to start a fight with cars driving by now, so get a couple cars down. Stop. Put her in your car.
No.
Yeah. Stop.
I want my dad.
Listen, you gotta tell this officer where you pulled in. Come on.
I'm not going nowhere. I want my dad.
247, we don't need you here. Hey! Get back in your house!
No. I want my dad.
Whew. Okay. I know that was a lot to watch, and I hope that I gave an adequate disclaimer prior to playing that video, but I meant it when I said it was intense. It's graphic. It is very disturbing. Okay. Now, do you guys see why she was acting like that when now, after going through all of that with her mother, you're trying to force her into a cop car? Like, I understand why she was raging out the way she was and why she resisted the way she did, if this is what she's going through in her house on a day-to-day basis. So let's back up a little bit before I get into my thoughts. First of all, as you guys can see, the video starts out, and when the cop finally got her to speak with him and the mom comes charging over, she says, "You stabbed my dad." I know the closed caption said stopped, but remember, closed captions aren't always perfect. She actually said stabbed, and then they start to get in an argument over whose blood was on, I think, the mom's shirt or something like that, which was very bizarre because it's almost like you walked into the middle of an odd conversation. So I think the reason the girl stormed out in the first place is because I really believe, and this is alleged, I don't know the facts, I wasn't there, but I believe she saw this woman stab her father. And that's why she fled the house. You see what I mean? And I think the reason the mother raged out when she got there is because the daughter was talking to the cop, probably like you said, telling the cop, "This woman just stabbed my dad, like right in front of me." She didn't want her to tell on her. You see what I mean? Oh God, this is so deep. So anyway, part of one of the most disturbing parts of this to me is when they start arguing, and it almost sounded like two women arguing on the street, two grown adult women on the street. And the mother says to the little girl, who is 9, by the way, "You a grown ass little girl, you a grown ass little bitch." Like, can you imagine? Like, that's so sad. Like how, and this is not the first time she said that to her. It came out too effortlessly. It flowed out for this to be the first time this woman has said this to this little girl. And then it morphed into a little bit more of a disturbing comment. There were several, the whole thing was disturbing, but when she yelled at her, and I felt like I almost heard a demon come out when she said, I got custody, you're my child. Like, can you see why this little girl wanted to run away? Can you see if this little girl threatened self-harm? Why? She's in the care, custody, and control of an absolute psychopathic demon. And I know that because this woman physically assaulted her in front of the cop. In front of the cop. And it almost looked like she headbutted her. I couldn't quite make out what she did, but she hit her because you heard the little girl go, ow. And no one is talking about this, but she was complaining about her arm all throughout the video. When the cop first got to her, you'll have to watch it again on your own because I'm not going to play it again. And I will link the long version after the show. But the cop reaches her and gets to her. And I guess he grabbed her wrist and she goes, my arm. And it was guttural. Like, I feel like I know when people are faking. And it's like the pain she was in is the type of pain that takes your breath away. You'll have to listen again on your own. But I was like, what is going on with her arm? And it continues on throughout the video because when they were trying to put her in the car, she said to them, I keep telling y'all I have a bad arm. I think this woman either twisted her arm, pulled it out of socket, or something was wrong. Like, y'all, this whole situation is so messed up. And it made me feel so incredibly sad for not only this little girl, but other children like her trapped in situations like this, trapped with psychopathic mothers, you know what I mean? Who, often are awarded custody for one reason or another. And this is what the child is dealing with day in and day out. Okay. Let's see. I felt like, in a way, what I wrote in my notes was some women terrorize their children in this way, calling them names, placing them on the level of adults like a rival or a competitor, right? So, and by the way, guys, before I get too far off topic, eventually the mother did get arrested. So later on in that same video, when the rest of the cops got there, he was talking to a fellow officer and the guy was like, what do you want me to do? He goes, I'm ready to take mom. He was like, yeah, she's, fighting the daughter, fighting people in the street, So I guess what maybe he was trying to do in that moment was not escalate the mother even further. But I was still bothered at the fact that, like, he let her speak to the daughter that way and he let her assault her in front of him and didn't say, ma'am, you're about to be under arrest if you keep that up, or you're under arrest or something. I don't know. It was weird how calm he was. Like, he was all right with everything. Like, the daughter was the biggest problem, not the mom. That bothered me. I was bothered by that. I was also very bothered with how they handled her in the car. But again, that's obvious because she ended up pepper sprayed. But on a sidebar but related note, sometime in the near future, I'm going to do a video on a deeper PTE, because I found an article today that said the presence of a daughter or the birth of a daughter as a first child often leads to divorce. And it's just fascinating. And I have a fascinating theory behind that. But seeing this reminds me of that article in a way. So we'll be talking about that, but we're going to do that on a deeper PTE because the theory I have behind it is kind of far out there. So we'll do it over there. I'll close on these thoughts. We'll take a quick break and then I'm going to go through some of you guys' comments. But women need to know that this type of treatment is not okay and not excusable nor justifiable just because you're the mom. Yes, we have to discipline our children. Yes, we have to give our children boundaries. We have to do all of that. But this is a level that should not be crossed. And I wouldn't be surprised if this woman loses custody of her child after this. I'll have to do a follow-up on the story. But to me, that's worthy of loss of custody. Because that's not the first time that happened. And if she really did stab the dad, well, that's attempted murder. So you're going to lose custody anyway. The custody that you were screaming in her face about. It's almost like she might as well have said, you are my property. You belong to me. You know what I mean? And that's how a lot of them feel. And the final thought I'll say on this, and then we'll transition into after show, is if you grew up like this, please know that it is not normal. Please seek out some sort of psychological therapy and counseling for this, because it's not normal to be treated this way as a child by a parental figure, but especially your mother. And for the love of God, please work on not passing it down to your children. Please seek out the help that you need first before you have kids, so you don't pass this on to your children, so you can break the generational curse of this, because much of this is a generational curse. So seek out help. If you're a young person listening to this, you don't have kids yet, and this is what you went through in your house, please seek out some type of counseling and therapy. I will leave a resource for you after the show is done in the description box, but seek help before you pass this on to your own children, okay? So with that, let's take a quick commercial break, you guys. I know this has been kind of intense, kind of heavy, but we are going to just do a commercial break, and then I'm going to shout out my sponsors, and then I'm going to go through your comments, okay? So sit tight, and let me see if I can work my technology. Hold, please. All right, I'm back. Now I have to figure out how to make this. All right, perfect. All right, I'm back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with me. Let's go ahead and give a big shout out to our sponsors for the evening. Our first sponsor, hold on, I lost my notes. Hold on, I'm sorry. Here we go. Okay, found it. Our first sponsor is the Mama Trauma podcast. I think it's quite timely considering the topic that we are discussing this evening. If you are the daughter of a narcissistic mother that's ready to break the chains and start walking in your God-given freedom, this show is for you. Mama Trauma is available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. So do check that out. I hope you guys, those of you who have checked it out already, are enjoying the show. Thank you so much, Mama Trauma, for the sponsorship. I certainly appreciate it. And our next February sponsor is Rebounding from Narcissism. Rebound is here on YouTube, and Rebound is in the chat. Hi, Rebound. Rebound's purpose is to spread awareness of narcissistic personality disorder, help fellow survivors heal, and offer understanding of narcissism from a male perspective through a spiritual lens. The key to breaking free from this system is understanding NPD at the core level. Please do follow Rebound on his YouTube channel and his healing journey. And the link is in the description box below for you, okay? So thank you so much to my sponsors. I appreciate you guys so much. And to everyone listening, do go check out our sponsors and show them some love, okay? So I'm going to go through just a few of your comments for a few minutes, and then we'll get out of here, okay? Right. So let's see what we got going in the chat. Let's see. Hopefully I didn't upset people. People tend to get upset about this. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see. Oh yeah, I left that part out. So the comment says, Mommy Dearest filed a lawsuit. She better not get a penny, or the judge better put it in the child's name. Exactly. I don't think she's going to win that lawsuit. Not after they see that whole video. Because like, in many ways, she instigated the whole situation. Now, no, they still shouldn't have pepper sprayed a 9-year-old. Like, they don't even pepper spray dogs, you guys. Really think about that. That thought really set it home for me. Like, they don't even pepper spray dogs. I mean, they do have dog spray, but like, they will try like everything else first before they harm a dog. So anyway, don't get me started. Yeah, so there's a lawsuit, and they'll probably win something to make it all go away, especially for the officer pepper spraying that little girl. But they're not going to win a lot. They're not going to win millions. She's going to win the loss of custody of her child is what she's going to win. Absolutely. It says we need Medicare for all, including mental health. I couldn't agree more. It might need to be at the top of the list. You know what thought I had earlier, though? I wonder if our mental health resources simply are not working. Like, what if all the counselings and all the therapies? I mean, I always think it's beneficial to talk to somebody. I think there's always benefit in that. And I think it always has some positive result, better than no result. But what if our mental health centers aren't working, you guys? What if that's also part of the problem? What if it's all just simply not working? You know, because theoretically, if something works, it should fix a problem, right? Like if you have problems with your back and you go to a back specialist and they do surgery on you, and then you still have problems with your back for the rest of your life, well, did they fix the problem? So if you continuously go to get treated for your mental health and nothing is changing, maybe our approach is off. Let's see. But I agree still, though. Just so you know, I am agreeing with you. People can't always hear that I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing, though. We need Medicare for all and mental health care for all. And I almost start to maybe think it should be mandatory in the schools. Like, no matter how healthy mentally you think you are, no matter how stable your family might appear to be, yeah, you get 30 minutes of mental health counseling every week for every student. 30 minutes with your mental health counselor. And if life is going great, we'll talk about how great life is for 30 minutes. But you're going. I think we need that. I think we could catch a lot if we did that. Make it as mandatory as gym. You know what I mean? Let's see. Yeah, this right here. Isn't this insane? It says these cops are committing suicide. Number one cause of death among them right now because they don't have any emotional intelligence training. Yeah, this is insane. Like so many cops are. Like it's crazy. Like there's a very specific story of a guy who put out like a Facebook video first. And then he, did that. And it's sad because it's like, you can see based on the little bit that I heard, because I couldn't watch the whole thing, but I was like, he just needed somebody to talk to who could help sort out all these thoughts. And the thing with thought sorting is not short. So like, I feel like maybe if we were going to design like another mental health approach, one of them could be what I would call the long story approach, meaning, excuse me, this story has so many twists and turns and so many components that I'm going to have to tell you the story over the course of a week. So the way that the long story therapy would work would be, instead of you trying to get all your issues out 1 hour per day or 3 times a week, why don't we structure it to where for an hour each day for a week, you tell me the whole story from start to finish. So on Monday, we'll base it on a 5-day week. On Monday, you tell me the first hour of the story. Tuesday, you pick it back up and carry us to the next. You see what I mean? So that way we stretch it out a bit. People feel fully purged. And also the therapist can have a better understanding of where this person is coming from, because they had the opportunity to tell the whole story, not just a fraction of it in 1 hour. So that could be a new approach to therapy, the long story approach. Like, okay, I'm going to talk your ear off for an hour today, and then I'm going to pick up tomorrow. And then that way the therapist doesn't get worn out too. Like the therapist would just know, okay, I'm going to hear about the story for an hour. Let me take notes. You know what I mean? I think people trying to summarize is part of the problem. You got to tell every piece because you're crazy because of every piece. And I'm not calling you crazy, honey. I'm crazy too. We're crazy because of every piece. So if you're going to tell somebody for therapy, they kind of need to know every piece because you're crazy because of every piece. You understand? Let's see. What other comments do we have here? Yep, it says narc moms compete with their daughters, which is just the most counterintuitive thing I could ever imagine on planet Earth. So I can't wait to do that video because I just find it so bizarre. Because if I had a daughter, I would be trying to like facilitate all of her dreams, whatever they may be. If you want to be great, let's make you great. If you're okay kind of being mediocre, as long as you're not a C student, we're all right. You know, you might just want to live an ordinary life. That's fine, but I'm going to help you facilitate that ordinary life. Like, I just want the best for you always. And if the best supersedes me, well, shouldn't it? Like, if you're my child and I'm done very well, it seems to me that you would do as well or better. That only makes sense. Like, I don't see why it would be any other way. So women who compete with their daughters, I find to be bizarre and borderline psychotic. Let's see. Yeah, she treats her daughter like a grown woman. I don't like that. And it's a specific problem in the Black community, the growing up of little girls before they're actually grown. And this is the one of the ways that it's done is speaking to them and interacting with them and calling her a little bitch. Well, that's how you speak to a grown adult woman. You see what I mean? So it grows the children up quicker than it should. It's a huge problem in the Black community. It's probably, I would imagine it's a problem in communities everywhere, but the way it contributes to society on the whole is it causes society to not always view little Black girls as little Black girls. You see what I mean? It causes society to view them as more adult than they actually are. That's another show, another topic, but it is Black History Month, so we might as well touch on these things, right? Let's see here. Yeah, she's never going to forget being called that by her mom. Right. It says, if she did all that in front of the cop, you can only imagine what it's like behind closed doors. Kids don't just run away in the middle of a snowstorm. Exactly. So this is no excuse. It's just a reason. But that is part of the reason they were trying to get her in the car because it was so cold outside. And he even said that to her at some point in the video. It might have been the lady cop who said, you got to get in the car. We don't want you to get hypothermia. So I don't know if she didn't have on a sufficient jacket or sufficient attire to be in that kind of weather, but they didn't want her to stay outside because it was too cold. Again, not an excuse. It's not an excuse to pepper spray a 9-year-old. It is not. It's just one of the reasons that factored into it. Let's see here. Versus like a summer day is what I'm saying. So I imagine if it was like a warm summer day, they probably just would have sat out there on the pavement forever until they can convince this girl to go with them. You see what I mean? Because it's a warm summer day versus like a blistering, freezing snowstorm. Does anyone know what the temperature was or where they were? What city did this happen in? Anybody know? Let's see here. Right. It was like the cop was just breaking up a random cat fight. Like if I'm the cop, I would say, ma'am, I need you to know I'm getting ready to take you to jail. Step away from your daughter right now. You need to back up 60 feet, 100 feet, go over to the curb. And when more officers get here, I need you to know you're getting ready to be arrested. I need you to know that, you know, like it just like he was just like he was breaking up a club fight. It was almost like what it was like. It was so weird. Like I found it strange. Let's see. Right. So just kind of speaking on what I was just saying about how people tend to grow little black girls up. When he was trying to push her in the car, he said, stop acting like a child. And she snapped back at him, I am a child, because she is. You know, it's almost like I expect more out of you. And it's like, why? Why do you expect so much more? Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, probably. It says probably why the dad put her in a headlock, abusing his child. Exactly. Probably why. And I keep referencing this article. Let me just stop so I don't accidentally do the video. I'll just save it for the other show on the other channel. But yeah, that's probably what happened. Like he probably stood up and said, you're not going to do this to my daughter. And of course that triggers a jealous rage in the psychotic mother. And that's probably what set all of this off. So we don't even know if the dad's okay. Like, did he get stabbed? Is he alive? Did he bleed out somewhere? Is he all right? Is he in the hospital? Where did they find him? What's up? Let's see here. Excuse me. Let's see. Right. It says, yeah, the cop was not gentle. He needs more training. Because what I would do, and of course, I'm not a police officer. I don't have de-escalation training. But if we're standing in the middle of a snowstorm and it's freezing, you know, at some point, you got to let nature make the decision. So what I'm saying is I would make sure it got caught on body camera, too. I would say, sweetie, it's 10 degrees out here. How do you feel right now? And she would probably say, cold. So you cold, right? I'm cold, too. But you don't want to get in the car where it's nice and warm. So you and I are going to stand here until you decide it's a good idea for us to get in the car. We're going to stand here together and be cold. And that's exactly what we would do. We would stand right there because I assure you I would have some hot hands in my pockets. And for those who don't know what those are, they're like these little packets. You tear them open, you shake them, and they stay warm for like a couple hours. My Northerners, I'm sure, know all about them. That's fine. We can stand out here. And I guarantee you, as frostbite starts to set in, she'll say, okay, can we get in the car now? Sure thing. Would you like a blanket? Awesome. And we're going to go talk. You see what I mean? Like, you have to let nature teach at some point. Let nature do it, you know? Now, we're not going to let her freeze to death, but at some point, maybe we'll just pull an ambulance up and just throw you in the back of that. There's more space. Like, can I ask a question? And I know this question is going to come out funny, but I really am sincere. Why don't we hog tie people? I mean that. I really mean that. Like, why don't we have any apparatuses that can restrain the shoulders, the arms in more of a full-bodied fashion? Why don't we have like any wraps, suspect wraps? Why don't those exist? Like, do y'all remember This is from like the 80s and 90s. But we used to love them. They were called like slappers or wrist slaps, but basically they were nothing more than like a long piece of something, metal, I guess, covered in like a thin piece of fabric, but you can like slap them on your wrist and they would like, we loved them back in the day. We don't have anything similar to that we can just, like by the time you realize what's happening, your arms are already like down by your side. We don't have anything like that. How is it torture? Come on now. It's soft. You know what I mean? All it does is restrict your movement. That's it. So we can pick you up kind of like a hot dog or like a sign that you pluck up and kind of carry with you, or a rolled carpet. Anyway. It's less lethal. It's more humane. And it's very calming to be in that position. It really is. That's why they swaddle babies. We could call it the swaddler, you know? And if there's a suspect that you can't get control of, you break out the swaddler. And the way the swaddler works is that it basically just comes upon you. Like you don't even know what's happening. You can't fight the swaddler. There's nothing that you can do. And by the time it's said and done, you are rolled like a little hot dog, and we just pick you up and put you in the back. What y'all think? I'm just saying, I'm just trying to think outside of the box. I'm just trying to get more creative with these things. Like a cocoon. We could call it the cocoon. I like that. Excuse me. I like the cocoon better than the swaddler. It's like, all right, man, get the swaddler. Get the cocoon, I mean. And it kind of launches at you, kind of like there's like a pressure jet that pushes it out, you know, so it's like under pressure. And then when they launch the swaddler at you, I mean, you can't really do anything. Like it's going to hit you and it's going to completely cocoon you and wrap you up tight. And then they just walk up to you and pick you up like a rolled carpet. All right, let's move on. Let's see here. Yeah, that video reminded some of y'all of your upbringing. That's unfortunate. I'm so sorry. I hope it didn't trigger you, but I do hope I gave a sufficient warning. Let's see. Parenting is not for all. And you know, I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, Mother Nature is really interesting. So many things are kind of restricted to us except the ability to reproduce. Like anybody can do it if you have the tools and the, you know, parts to do so. Anybody can do it for the most part. And it's like the single most important thing that there is. And it's available to everybody. Like, why? Why did Mother Nature do it that way? Why? Like being a parent, being born to parents, that whole relationship, that whole interaction is the most important thing on planet Earth. And it is accessible and available to anybody. Anyone can do it. I don't understand fully why nature set it up that way, but nature did. Let's see here. All right. You want to talk about those neighbors arguing over the snow? We'll do a separate stream for that, okay? By the way, guys, there is a video out there of that. I won't show it on my channel because I don't want to get in trouble. I won't even show it on a deeper PTE, but literally there's a crystal clear uncut video of that whole interaction. And it is insane. Like, it's insane that, number one, the video is out there available for all to see. It's insane that, like, the way this guy did it, like, it's crazy. Like, anyway, we'll do a separate stream on that. We might do that this weekend. Let's see. Y'all like the commercial music. I like that it's actually coming through properly and clearly. You can actually even hear bass in it now. When I listened to playback from earlier, I was like, oh my God, you can hear the bass. Praise God for that update. Thank you, StreamYard. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's see here. Let me see if I can find a real good closing comment and we'll get out of here. As always, I go back and watch the playback of the live chat when it's available to me. Sometimes it's not available for 12 hours. And I really think that's done just to make me a little bit more insane than I was the day before. But it's all right. I'm learning to practice and exercise patience. But no, sometimes on the longer streams, it does take a little bit longer for it to load. So if you do go back to watch this later and you're looking for the live chat, it may or may not be available right away. So we shall see. Okay. Slap bracelets. That's what they were called. Slap bracelets. I loved those. So can we design something for law enforcement that's very similar to just bigger and call it the cocoon or the swaddler, one or the other? Less lethal, and it'll kind of gently rock you to sleep, like it'll calm you down, like a weighted blanket, like somebody said. You know, you're doing all that thrashing around, you get hit with the cocoon, and now suddenly you're calming. Like you might still be screaming, your head might still be going, but your body is in a calming, relaxed state and position. I like it. I'm going to pitch it. I'm going to pitch it on Shark Tank. See that. All right, let's see here. Let me get this off. All right, you guys. It's been fun. I hope you've enjoyed the streams lately here on the channel. And I will be going live on a deeper PT at some point, probably next week, to do a couple shows over there, but I'll still be active over here. Just going to be active everywhere, except maybe for political PTE, because God, I can't keep up with these psychos, man. Every time I'm like, every day there's something new. And I'm like, I can't keep up. So maybe instead of me trying to keep up with the news, I can just do the videos that are more so my interpretations of the political. So for example, like I've been teasing why people think I'm a Republican and why I never could be. Focus on those types of videos versus trying to get the news, because I can't. Every day, every hour almost, these people are up to something. All these little gophers, all these whack-a-moles. So anyway, y'all, enjoy your weekend. I may be back on tomorrow, Saturday, but if not, possibly Sunday, but if not, definitely Monday. And with that, let's see if we can close out with our music. Here we go. All right, have a good one, y'all. Work? Nope. Here we go. All right, you guys. Bye. Have a great one. Thank you so much.